Can I have your attention, please? I don't want just your attention, but your family, your children, your significant others. Anybody who you care about ought to be logged on right now. This is the introduction of Trillionaire Thursdays. I am believing that in this 6-week series, you're going to be equipped, empowered, informed, and educated about your destiny and God's intention for wealth to run through your family. I don't want you to just listen. I need for you to write. And for those of you who are reticent about this idea, I want you to know that Jesus never ran from a conversation about money. The truth of the matter is, 11 of the 39 parables in the New Testament really are about money. And so I want you to get it, I want you to glean from it, and I want you to go after it. Our first presenter is my friend. I just realized today that I've known him for 6 years. We met the week after the murder of Freddie Gray. My city of Baltimore was up in flames, and we were trying to figure out where to go next, how to proceed. And Jay Morrison came then from Jersey to roll out a blueprint for economic development for communities that found themselves in despair. Little did I know he would move to Atlanta and I would come shortly thereafter. And as a consequence, I have great confidence of what it is that he's going to roll out. He's a man of integrity and wherewithal, insight and understanding to help illumine our footsteps so that we might be on the right path. This goal of economic parity is not wishful thinking. It comes from hard work, focus, and intentionality. And so I need you to do 2 things for me. I need you to text somebody, alert everybody, and then I need you to steady yourself, quiet the room, focus, so you can hear everything that Jay Morrison has to say. I'm sitting right beside you. I'm taking notes. I'm excited. Let's grow together.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant, my brother, my pastor, my friend, and my comrade in this economic revolution. Thank you for the warm words. Thank you for the invite. And thank you to the New Birth family for having me, as I'm really excited about Trillionaire Academy and Trillion Dollar Thursdays. I want to give you guys the opportunity to grab a notepad, grab a tablet, grab the back of a napkin, that envelope on your kitchen counter. We need you to take notes to retain this information. This will be one of the most important lessons on financial literacy, important lessons on bridging the wealth gap, and important lessons on economic freedom and empowerment that we need. We understand that the root word of empowerment is power, and power is the ability to influence outcomes. So today we're going to give you a powerful blueprint to affect the outcome that we all need to bridge the wealth gap in our generation or in the next generation to come. So, in Trillionaire Academy, I think one of the most important things we need to discuss is the biggest trillionaire elephant in the room, and that is the race gap here in the United States of America. So currently in the United States, our wealth gap, family per family, is about $250 billion pro rata. I'm gonna break that down to you. So in last place in our wealth gap are Africans in America, black families. There's about 15 million black families in America, approximately. And those 15 million black families have a household median net worth of approximately $17,150. So that 15 million times $17,150, we're going to get over a little over $250 billion of median household net worth. I'm going to define net worth in just a little bit. So that $250 billion, about $256 billion, $250 billion, is the total or collective household median net worth of black families. And then you have white families, European American families, who are in first place. And this is not about race or ethnicity in regards to our social construct. This is about the race for family wealth. No matter what ethnicity or origin that we have. So black families have been in last place for over 450 years every year on year, while European American families or white families have been in first place for the same time and beyond here in America. So there's about 100 million, right, white families in America with a median household net worth of approximately $171,000 per family. That family is about a $16 trillion family net worth, right? That's about a $17 trillion household net worth, which leaves a wealth gap of about 16 trillion or $16.8 trillion. So the wealth gap defined collectively is about $2.56 trillion, right? So if we look at this family per family pro rata, 15 million black families versus 15 million white families at our current median household net worth, 15 million white families at their current worth is about $2.56 trillion. Family per family pro rata net worth versus our $256 billion or a quarter of a trillion. So family per family net worth, we're talking about the gap is about $153,000 per family. So between first place white America and last place black America, there's about $153,000 gap per family. So when we put out the hashtag or the tweet or have the private dinner room or barbershop conversations about the wealth gap, about economic oppression, and about the economic revolution, where it starts is us quantifying it. So in order to cure, to bridge, or to fix the wealth gap, we must understand that black families, family per family, versus the first place counterparts of white families must increase our household net worth by $153,000 in our lifetime or for the next generation. So right now I'm gonna pause and allow you guys to review your notes as we start to define what is family net worth and how do we improve it. All right, I hope you were able to read all my writing and review your notes and understand the large conversation about not millions, not billions, but trillions, and the gap that we suffer from, and now the fact that there are some real live solutions on how we can bridge it and become economic revolutionaries. So we believe in a mantra of being the CEO of our last name. The CEO is a leader and visionary of an organization. And so many of our families have lost those patriarchs or matriarchs, those leaders who had a vision for, say, the Morrison family, not this year, but 40 years from now or 100 years from now. Or what about a 400-year plan? What about a 1,000-year plan for your family? Who is thinking about leading and being the visionary, the forward thinker for your last name? As you hopefully raise your hand and say, I want to take that challenge on, one of the goals that we all should have is to increase our family median household net worth. So net worth is defined as a sum of all of your assets, things that have value, minus your liability and debt. It's really how you define wealth. Wealth is an abundance of assets that supersedes liability and debt. Well, net worth is, right? We're talking about family net worth, how the wealth gap is commonly defined, and how we just realized what that quantifiable gap is in dollar amount, $153,000. Net worth is, again, a sum or adding up all your assets. So we're talking about, obviously, your cash on hand, your savings, right? Retirement accounts, 401ks, real estate, any antique cars or cars you own that have value, any artwork that has value, jewelry that has value, right? Any of these things are all part of our net worth, things that have value. Gold, commodities, right? Trademarks, copyrights, your business, your small business, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner. It has a value. Your business has a certain value, which is usually used by a multiple of your business. Maybe we'll tap on that a little bit later in this lecture. So family net worth is, again, a sum of all your assets, but it's minus your liabilities and your debt. That equals your family net worth. That's that student loan debt, that's your mortgage debt, that's your car debt, your credit card debt, promissory debt. All that is subtracted from the value of your assets. So because we have a big entrepreneur community here at New Birth, I want to give you guys a Trillionaire gem. A Trillionaire gem is this. With your business, your small business, your business has a net revenue, right? So we know that gross revenue, gross worth, gross income is your revenue, worth, or income before expenses. Right? So anytime you hear the word gross, you're talking about revenue, income, profits before expenses, gross worth, gross income. So your small business, your janitorial service, your barbershop, your construction company, your mortgage company, right? Your t-shirt company, your website company, your small business has a gross revenue and a gross worth, but when you subtract your gross revenue of your business, we'll do it here, minus your expenses of your business, you then get your business, right, net revenue. Don't worry about the writing. Listen to the words. Check it out. When you find your business net revenue, annual revenue we're talking about here, when you find your business net revenue, each industry has what's called a business multiple. This is how you find your business net worth. Sometimes our businesses are some of our biggest assets in our family portfolio, but we never take the time to actually value our business. What will our business trade at? What would it sell at on the market? So what you typically do is you find out, you research your industry multiple. Sometimes it's 3 times your net revenue, your annual net revenue. Sometimes it's 5 times, 7 times, sometimes 13 times your revenue. So say your small business net revenue, you guys make $100,000 a year, right? Your family makes $100,000 a year from the local family business. That's your net revenue after expenses. And you find out that your industry has a 5 times multiple in valuation, it's called. That would mean that your business is worth, traded on the market, at $500,000. Now, why this is important is because as you're calculating your family net worth, many times we leave out the small business we're operating because we never knew how to even value it and show what it really represents in a valuation. So now as you add up your jewelry, your art, your cars, your real estate, your stocks, your savings, your cash, you add in your business value, right, to your family net worth, and then you subtract all the family liabilities and debt, and then you're left with, after that, your true blue net worth. All right? So this is how, and I want to challenge each of us, and we have some worksheets that we'll provide and some future lessons. I'll give you some resources at the end, but I want to challenge each of you as the family CEO, the chief executive officer of your last name, the leader and visionary of your family, and someone who's looking to contribute towards our mission to bridge the wealth gap. You can't do it alone, right? Last place is a team. And so in order for us to catch first place, that means each individual must step up to be a family CEO to lead that family, that 15 million families, into a $153,000 increase in family net worth in order to tie first place. And so now we define net worth. We're going to talk about something that I've coined net worth AD, or net worth at demise, or after death. And that's a critical secret element I want to share with us in our Trillionaire Academy, how all of us have a amazing opportunity, whether we're into the stock market, whether we're into business and entrepreneurship, whether we're into real estate, we all have an easy opportunity to increase our family net worth at demise or after death. So I want you guys to check your notes, and I want you to challenge your family to sit at the kitchen table, write out all your assets, everything you got that has a value. Baseball cards, I don't care what it is, video games, old comic books, anything that has a value and can be an asset to your last name. But I also want you to do the painful work of looking at your credit report and looking at that family budget and looking at them student loans your children got, or maybe that you have that you never even used yet, the degree on your wall. I want you to look at that and find out how much liability and debt do we have. Subtract that liability and debt from your gross family worth, and you then will find and define your family net worth. Maybe yours isn't $17,150. Maybe you're one of the ones that's lending towards the upside of our average. Or maybe you have a negative net worth right now in your family, more liability and debt than you have assets. But now you know what to work on. And before we end Trillionaire Academy, our inaugural session, I'm going to actually give you a blueprint to increase your family net worth. So check your notes right now. I want you guys to study that and start writing out your assets, liabilities as we continue on with our lecture. All right, awesome. I hope you're pumped up by what we defined so far and understanding truly what the wealth gap is, understanding our family's contribution towards that wealth gap, and identifying and doing the discovery for our family on what is our last name net worth. Now let's talk about this new innovative approach to net worth called NW, net worth AD, after demise or after death or at death. So legacy is defined as the amount of cash, money, or wealth we leave behind for our heirs. There's reputational legacy, right, making history books, but financial legacy is the amount of cash, money, or assets one leaves behind for their heirs. I want to encourage everyone who's watching this to let's shift our mind a little bit and let's start thinking about our children, right, our kids, not as our children and our kids, not how many of us come up in a kind of dictatorial, authoritative kind of household, but the children that we have, they aren't there just to fetch our slippers or get us the cold Pepsi out the fridge. Our children are actually there to continue our last name, to grow and expand our legacy and what we work so hard for. So our children are CEOs in training. They are the future of the family, the future of the last name. They're the future matriarchs and patriarchs of the family. So we have to start reprogramming ourselves. When we're talking about bridging the wealth gap, it is done so by intergenerational wealth. Generational wealth is just wealth for one generation. Intergenerational wealth is wealth for multiple generations. So if you build it all up as an astounding entrepreneur, as an astounding real estate developer, as an astounding stock investor, but you never train your heirs, you'll watch your wealth deplete and be wasted in a lifetime of legacy going by the wayside. All right, so I want us to reprogram ourselves to look at our children as actually our heirs and CEOs in training who are taught and training up that child in a way they should go to actually be a legacy builder and legacy extender. So this concept we're going to talk about in Bridging the Wealth Gap in our Trillionaire Academy is net worth AD, right? We can say after death, after demise, at demise. It means when you die. And the coolest part about dying is that's a level playing field. We all gonna die someday. None of us are beating it, right? So if we know we're all gonna die someday, and we know we have all these assets we talked about, right? You can rack up again, stocks, businesses, real estate, right? All of it. You can do all those things in your lifetime, but we have this opportunity through financial vehicles like life insurance, right? Whether it's a term policy, whole life policy, permanent policy, which is what we kind of preach and teach, IUL, doesn't matter. But what happens is with life insurance, outside of all the fancy strategies I can teach about leveraging life insurance and cash values and uninterrupted growth and tax deference and it being free from litigation, forget all that. Let's go basics. Life insurance basics is that you get a death benefit. You get money when you die. Well, actually, you don't get it, which is why many of us don't have life insurance, because we're so interested in ourselves and being selfish as opposed to selfless. Our heirs get it. So you can rack up, again, maybe your business is worth $500,000. Maybe your stock portfolio is worth another $20,000. Maybe your real estate portfolio is worth another $80,000. And you have a $600,000 gross family worth, and say your debt is maybe $300,000. So your family net worth, if you had a debt of $300,000, your family net worth would be $300,000, right? So $600,000 between all your assets minus your liabilities and your debt, you got a $300,000 family net worth. Maybe you are not so lucky or have not been so intentional about your assets or your spending, and you find out you got a bunch of cars, you got a nice house, you got a bunch of jewelry, a lot of little diamonds in it, but it's not worth a lot of value. So you find out that your asset column is only worth $75,000, or maybe it's $750,000 of asset column. But you're living above your lifestyle and you have $850,000 of debt. You would then have a negative net worth of $100,000. Right? That's the concept of net worth. But here's the cool trick about net worth AD. Even while we're figuring out the best ways to build family net worth in our lifetime while we're alive and to enjoy that net worth, we have the opportunity to get a death benefit when we die through life insurance. Life insurance is not something we pay for, but it's actually something that we invest in, because an investment produces a return on investment, or ROI. So you could literally get a $100,000 death benefit for your life insurance, or a $250,000 death benefit, or a multi-million-dollar death benefit for your life insurance. And now here's how that will look. Say you were financially irresponsible, you want to live the good life, you want to blow money fast instead of blow money slow. And you had all the cars and the homes, you had all the assets of $750,000. But again, you had $850,000 of liability. Here's your opportunity. If you had a death benefit though, with all the money that you're investing into things as a consumer, if you had a death benefit of $1 million, even though your living net worth was poor, it was horrible, honestly, it was negative, you did not help us bridge the wealth gap during this generation while we're alive. But you were wise enough, astute enough, a visionary enough to be able to get a death benefit in life insurance. So when you died, yeah, you were negative on your liabilities and assets, but when you cashed out at demise, you had $1 million cash go to your family as a death benefit. Minus the 100 that you were negative in net worth, you now left your family a $900,000 net worth and helped us tremendously as a community bridge the wealth gap, which is $153,000 family per family. You see how easy that was? Even if you're not a risky entrepreneur, you're not a business owner, right? You love your job. You're not into stocks. You're not into numbers. You're not into real estate. You have a obligation almost and a duty and an opportunity to help us collectively, right? Because you can't nation build and community build, as my wife says, Ernestine Morrison, until you can family build. You can't family build to individually build. Same goes for finances. We can't bridge a community wealth gap or a national wealth gap until the family can bridge its own wealth gap. And that can't happen until the individuals in the family and the leader of the family starts to make smart moves. So we all have an opportunity through things like life insurance to be able to leave a strong net worth at death, and we don't know when we're going to die. The sad part is many of you guys are watching this on a tablet, maybe a phone or a computer, and you got insurance on that computer or phone, but you don't got insurance on your life. You got insurance on a car that can crash at any moment, made of aluminum and metal, but not insurance on your life. You can never get back and never buy another one. But this is a great opportunity for all of us to be intentional about investing. So maybe it means less gifts on Christmas. Maybe it means less birthdays. Maybe it means less a little bit of the habit you have. But to make that investment into a life insurance premium, you can guarantee, because you know you're going to die, you can guarantee leaving your heirs and your family with a better head start than most of us ever gotten. Hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars, and contribute towards our $1 trillion initiative to bridge the wealth gap. So I want you guys to reflect on this, read your notes, look around at your spouse, significant other, even your children and those in your family, and have that family discussion of how much is on your life and how much is on your life, and what can we collectively do if we all had a 6 or 7 figure policy knowing we're going to die someday, right? And it's very important for us to do what New Birth has been doing, and walking and fasting and eating properly, because your health is actually your wealth. You literally can get a cheaper premium on your cash benefit by being a healthier person. The life insurance may say, you know what, your cholesterol or blood pressure is too high, so we're only going to give you $250,000, where if you were healthier, you could have got $1 million for the same premium. So the healthier we are, the better position we give our family to receive a better inheritance and a better that we contribute towards bridging the wealth gap. So I want you guys to take notes, think about net worth AD, and we'll be back for the continuing of our lecture. All right, family, I hope you are excited about that as I am, because as a black man in America, and someone who grew up in poverty, grew up in the WIC lines, the welfare lines, born to a single mom that got off the abortion table to have me, someone that visited my father in prison, who served 13 years in prison, someone that dropped out of high school at 16 years old, was in the streets, a corner boy, dope boy, a trapper, from 15 to 25 years old, served 2.5 years in prison in 7 different prisons in 3 different states. As someone that could have been taken out early and has been through all the ringer in life, there's nothing more that I can appreciate and that I really relish in is the opportunity of knowing that my heirs, my 3 daughters, have a multi-million-dollar inheritance upon my demise. I can ensure that by decisions that I make today, outside of any real estate portfolios, business portfolios, stock portfolios, crypto portfolios, or anything else I do to advance that legacy, just upon me being an astute CEO for my family, I'm able to leave behind, and my wife and I are able to leave behind a multi-million-dollar legacy and contribute to our community wealth gap in a significant way. And we all have that opportunity. So essentially what I'm saying, and I'm going to get into some action steps for us, essentially what I'm saying is that if every black family, 15 million black families, were to increase their net worth, or at least net worth AD at death, at demise, by $153,000. So if 15 million black families were essentially to get a $153,000 life insurance policy each upon this generation dying, or those family leaders dying, we would literally tie family per family the wealth gap. And for once in 450 plus years, be in first place. Now, if every family wasn't in a position to do this, and only half of us were in position at 7.5 million black families, so say half of us still had to get our stuff together, that means the other half of us got to double up and get a $306,000 net worth AD, not to mention our other assets, again, to tie first place for family net worth. And if we added a little sauce on that, we could actually be first place, family per family, right, pro rata. So it's a great opportunity for us to literally bridge a $1 trillion wealth gap. Now, let's talk about, Jay, how do we get here? How do you begin to have a mind of a legacy builder? And so in my firm, the J. Morrison Academy, right, I operate as a fund manager of the largest and first black-owned real estate crowd fund in the history of America, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, as a fiduciary. I'm the president of the Black House, the Legacy Center in East Point, Atlanta, Georgia, a 30,000 square foot office building, event space, co-working space, accelerator, and a arts and media space, right? 2.6 acre campus, 5 minutes from the world's busiest airport, 2 miles from Tyler Perry's studio. We have a campus, right, in real estate. But outside of that, in the J. Morrison Academy, which is my baby, my baby company business, I've been able to teach and preach the financial gospel to millions throughout the country, in the streets and in the suites. And during my last 10 years mentoring millions, I've come up with a legacy blueprint that I think every single one of us need to embrace today. It's probably one of the most powerful lessons on legacy that you'll ever hear. So we've broken legacy down to what we call the legacy wheel. The legacy wheel is essentially this 5-part strategy for every one of us to be able to leave an abundance of assets that supersedes liability, AKA wealth, behind to our children, AKA our heirs, therefore fulfilling our obligation as the family CEOs and assisting us and New Birth on our mission, our $1 trillion mission to bridge the wealth gap in real life. So the first part to building wealth and building legacy is you must create cash. Without cash, there is no investments. Without cash, you can't even pay your life insurance premium to have net worth AD. So we must have cash in order to create wealth. And I'm going to go over some create cash strategies in just a moment. But Al, you can make all the money you want. And mind you, cash could be from your job. Your 9 to 5 could pay you well. It could be from your entrepreneurial endeavors. It could be from your trucking business, your stock portfolio, your crypto business, your ATM business, your vending business, right? Your realtor business. You're a singer. You're an actor. Wherever you get the cash, that's fine. But one thing you got to understand is that if you make more money, so right now you're making $50,000 a year, you get a new job or a side business, now you're making $125,000 a year. If you make more money just to spend more money and increase your lifestyle, you did nothing but break even. That's it. So in order to actually have wealth, you got to have an abundance of assets that supersedes liability and debt. So you might look good with the bigger car, the bigger house, the newer clothes, the European designers, but you did nothing but look good and not really create wealth if all you do is increase your lifestyle as you increase your cash. So in order to build wealth, we create cash, but then we understand we have to keep cash. Mr. J. Morrison, what do we have to do to keep cash? Keeping cash is about financial responsibility, first and foremost. It's changing your mindset about your spending. Not BMF, blowing money fast, but BMS, blowing money slow. It's about taking our time as consumers. It's about not falling into the peer pressure of consumerism, what they call conspicuous consumption. Hey, look at me. I got the latest bag, the most trending sneakers. I'm always in the trend. I'm always looking good, but my asset column is poor. That's one thing, changing our mindset from instant gratification to legacy gratification. I want everyone to write that down. Change your mindset from instant gratification to legacy gratification. Know that you're doing a good thing for your heirs. You're going to be one of those grandmas and granddads they brag about at the kitchen table. One of them great granddads that left behind that $900,000 inheritance, that portfolio, those stocks, those buildings, that grandma that Big Mama did that. That's you. You're 24 right now. You're 36 right now. You're 52 right now. But when you go, they're going to say, my grandma did that. And not only did she leave behind wealth, she left behind the keys to wealth and the information. See, we've lost so much wealth over the years. Yes, from the KKK. Yes, from redlining. Yes, from government oppression. Yes, from political oppression. We've lost wealth in those ways, but we've also did ourselves a disservice as we've created wealth through businesses and real estate. Many of our patriarchs and matriarchs never taught the next generation how to maintain and grow the assets they worked so hard to build. Or then so many of the next generation got so caught up in the dope game or the pimp game or the crack game or hip hop that we didn't take intentionality to learn grandmama's hustle or granddad's portfolio or his business to be able to take that over and to grow the family legacy. So we have to have intentional legacy conversations in our family. And I want to talk about that in just a second. So keeping wealth is about financial mindset, but it's also about leverage. Leverage is a big key to keeping your cash. using what people call OPM, other people's money. We call it at the J. Morrison Academy, TBM, the bank's money. Putting yourself in position based on credit to receive leverage. Therefore, you're keeping more of your cash and risking more of the bank's cash. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Outside of creating cash and keeping cash, you must have the ability to grow cash. So that means you got your core business, your core job, your core hustle that makes you your initial cash that you want to keep. But now you got to learn new ways to be able to grow the cash. So if your main thing is real estate, why not learn stocks? Why not learn crypto? Why not learn drop shipping? If your main thing is drop shipping, your main thing is 9 to 5, why not learn an additional way, whether it be passive income or earned income, to grow your wealth? The money has to work for you. If you got $9,000 sitting in a bank or $90,000 sitting in a bank, getting you 0.001% interest in your checking account, it's not even beating inflation. Inflation is 3.5% a year. So the opportunity cost of the money is lost. You have no opportunity cost on the money. You check, my homework to you all is everyone check your checking account, check your savings account, and ask your banker or look at your statement, how much interest is my money making? If your money in your account, your capital, your cash is making you less than 3.5%, you're not even breaking even with inflation in the downturn of the dollar. So we must grow cash at a rate of 3.5% or more. If it's sitting in a bank or under your mattress or in a shoebox, you're actually losing money in real life. So we go from growing our cash, but now you follow all J. Morrison strategies. You went and you grew your cash. You created the cash. You kept the cash. You were financially disciplined. But now you got to protect the cash. Now you're building wealth. But you're going to have more liability as you build more wealth and more businesses. So the ways that we protect the cash are the instruments of tax mitigation strategies, paying Uncle Sam less and us keeping more, leveraging LLCs and leveraging real estate for capital depreciation, cost segregation, finding out strategies and ways legally and legitimately to keep more wealth and earnings for your family, give less to Uncle Sam, and protecting it by having the proper insurances on your life, on your businesses, on your home, etc. Is making sure that you are protecting the wealth you work so hard to keep and create and grow. So, legacy cannot be fulfilled, even with creating a ton of cash, even with leveraging credit to keep a lot of cash. Not even from growing the cash, wealth can't be fulfilled, or legacy can be fulfilled, or not even protecting it. The only way that legacy is truly fulfilled is once you are in position to pass it on. We call this, again, the legacy wheel: create cash, keep cash, grow cash, protect cash, pass it on. Passing it on is what we call estate planning. This is something that also plagues our community and has been a detriment to us bridging the wealth gap. We don't leave any instructions for our heirs. Although we may praise God and believe in heaven, we get real spooky when it's time to talk about death. We gotta be willing to write out instructions, a will for your heirs. A living will, maybe a revocable trust that actually has instructions as to, or targets for your heirs to meet before they're able to receive your inheritance. We gotta sit down with our family, even at 30 and 40 years old, even in our 20s as we're building wealth, and say, if I were to go today, who gets what? So the courts aren't getting it, probate's not getting it, the heirs aren't squabbling and fighting. You need to leave instructions behind for your heirs and how you want your wealth divided, how you want your wealth grew, who you want to leave your wealth to. So in order to actually leave a legacy, we must create cash, keep cash, grow cash, protect cash, and pass it on, right? And these are all strategies we can learn. I've learned this over the last 20 years. I don't have a college education. I barely got out of high school through an alternative program. But through doing these things, living these things in real life, I've been able to cement my opportunity to be the best family CEO I can be in real time and to leave a legacy and wealth for my heirs, and most importantly, contribute towards our larger mission to bridge the wealth gap. So I want you guys to, again, make sure you have written these notes and that you're reviewing them, discussing with your family, and making sure you have everything you need to move forward as we get into the next part of our lecture. All right, family, I hope you guys have been enjoying this so far and are getting major gems and real instructions about how to go out and be the best family CEO, the CEO of your last name, and a legacy builder, and most importantly, for this context, a comrade and contributor towards our Trillionaire initiative to bridge the wealth gap. All right, so let me give you a couple quick, very vital lessons, right? 2 lessons I want to give you. One is this lesson we just talked about, which is called the opportunity cost of money. What the opportunity cost of money essentially says is you got to ask yourself as a wealth builder, what is the next best place to park my capital? So if we look at, again, whether we got $10,000, right? We got $100,000, $100K, or $1 million, right, sitting in the bank, we got to ask ourselves, if that money is sitting in cash in a shoebox or mattress, because I'm old school, I know I'm losing 3.5% on the opportunity of that capital, of that money, all across the board. I don't care if you got $1 million cash and buried somewhere, you're still losing money on it every single year. Now, if you got that money in your checking account, cool, you're gonna trust a good old-fashioned bank, great. Again, 0.001%. That's like 10 cents on 10,000. That's like $1 on 100,000. It's like $10 on $1 million if you have this sitting in your checking account, right? Say you wanna go to a savings account or a CD or even your 401k. Well, if that's at 5%, right? If you got in the stock market, and that's at 5%, you got to understand your money. So 5% on 10,000 is $500 a year. Understand this. If you're gaining 5% annually in a money market, in a 401k, in a stock portfolio, whatever it is, 5% of 10,000, remember, we tithe. 10% of 10,000 is what? 1,000. Half of 10% is what? 500. It's how I got really good at math, is growing up in church. So whenever I do numbers, I start at 10%. So you ask me 20, I'm going to 10, and I'm multiply times 2. So then we know 10% of 100,000 is 10,000. So 5% is 5,000. So that means, family, if you got $100,000 sitting in your IRA, your 401k, wherever it's at, it's earning you $5,000 a year on $100,000. If you have $1 million sitting in your account, family, it's earning you $50,000 a year on the $1 million in a 5% account. Jay, why are you telling us this? Because we must ask ourselves as a family CEO, what is the next best place I can park this capital? If you got $100,000, do you have enough hustle, enough information, enough strategy to make more than $5,000 a year on your $100,000? Could you do that with a trucking dispatch business? Could you do it in crypto? Could you do that brokering real estate? Could you do that in a t-shirt company? Could you do it through drop shipping? Could you do it through a vending machine? Could you do it through ATM machines? Do you have enough strategy to simply beat $5,000 profit in a whole year on your $100,000? And if you don't, in my opinion, you're disservicing your last name. If you're leaving it up to other people only to invest your 1,000 or 100,000 or 1 million or 10,000 to give you back, and you're pushing 5% in most of the markets, again, you're doing yourself a disservice of your family because you haven't broadened your horizons. So now we look at it numbers for numbers is simply as a CEO, well, honey, we got 100,000 sitting here. Is there a strategy Jay can teach us in Trillionaire Academy that can earn us more than $5,000 in a whole entire year. That's the opportunity cost. One other lesson. We talked about keeping cash and credit. We have to break our emotional tie to credit. Credit is not an emotional thing. Here's our credit wheel. Credit's not emotional. Credit's a paper game made up by the wealthy to borrow more money. There's only 50 trillion, this is Trillionaire Academy, let's talk trillion talk. There's only $50 trillion of cash, coins, and currency in the whole world. There's over $230 trillion of debt and credit. I'll say it again. There's $50 trillion of cash, coins, and currency, about $230 trillion of credit and debt. So it's more credit and debt in the world than cash. So what we teach is that all credit can be rebuilt, restored, repaired, and recycled, meaning used again. Why is that important? You don't got to get in your feelings about your credit. I've had nearly 800 credit scores. I've had 400 credit scores. I've had bankruptcies, I had short sales, I had foreclosures, and bounce back. There is no credit hell. There is no credit purgatory. No matter the collections, the student loans, the judgment, anyone can bounce back from credit. Not only could you rebuild it, you could restore it, you could repair it, and you could recycle it and use it again. Why is that important? Because there's 4 parts to credit we never talk about. There's your personal credit, of course. Cool, improve your personal credit score, your credit profile, increase that. But then what about your family credit? So here's what I learned from the wealthy during my 20-year journey of building wealth and legacy. Hey, I take the risk for the family. But while I'm taking the risk for the family, I'm building my wife's credit too. And I'm building my 16-year-old daughter's credit at the same time. And I'm building my cousin's credit at the same time. Why, Jay? Because imagine entrepreneurship, the definition of entrepreneurship is someone that organizes a business but takes greater than normal financial risk to do so. Entrepreneurship is risky. And you might lose the first franchise, the first ATM, the first vending machine. And most of us in our community put our head down, we lose, and say, I'm going back to the plantation. I'm never doing that again. Where other communities who are up $171,000 median net worth, let me give you their game. Mr. $17,150,000 family net worth. The other community's game is, I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to shoot a shot for the family. Guess what? That joint don't work. I ain't tripping. Wifey, you up next. Go get the loan. My daughter's 21 years old now. I have been building her credit since she was 16 years old. She has a 780 credit score, but we have a family understanding. If daddy's bright ideas don't work out and daddy can't go get a loan, guess what? You up next. We're going to leverage your credit. That's why I've been paying on these secure cards for all this time, and giving you authorized user status, and giving you a cheap Pep Boys card, and giving you all so we can build your credit from 16 so you're in position. Everyone write that down, in position. Outside of family credit, you have business credit. Oh man, we're crushing them. Crushing them with business credit. Crushing them. So you can literally leverage your personal credit score, your family credit to get business credit and go get hundreds of thousands of dollars from your business, even a new business, a new LLC. And go get business credit again to shoot your shot at building wealth. And your shot might not work out, and that's okay. We have a level of perfection that other communities don't even have. They just keep shooting their shot till one goes in. It's not emotional because credit is only a paper game. It's not the hood. See, in the hood, you borrow $100 from somebody, you don't pay them back, they come and see you. See, in credit, you borrow $100,000 or $100 million from somebody, and you don't pay them $100 million. You know what they do? They send you a letter in the mail. A letter. Ain't nobody pulling up on you, ain't no drive-bys. So you shoot your shot leveraging the bank's money to go do big things. And if it don't work, you say, my bad. Mr. Banker, I tried my best. My wife's up next. We'll rebuild mine and recycle me, and I'm up in 2 years. And then you got credit partners. Credit partners are people that have good credit scores, have good credit profiles, strong credit profiles, who may want to get in with you on a business and leverage their credit to get the capital that you can't get because you're in your repairing cycle or your restoring cycle. So if you can't do it yourself, you got your family. If they can't do it, you got your business. If your business can't do it, you got credit partners. You can get access to that $230 trillion in the world to go leverage it to keep your own cash, to grow your cash through other businesses so you can protect that cash and be in position to pass it on. All off TBM, the bank's money in real life. These are the trillionaire secrets of the wealthy, but the biggest part is the mindset. They don't care. We care too much. Some of y'all got an 800 credit score, but ain't got $800 in the bank. You so proud about your credit score, it's like it's bragging rights, but you ain't got no wealth. Your kids can't inherit your credit score. Your credit score is meant to be there for you to be able to control and acquire assets to build wealth and legacy and family net worth. You saving your credit score for a rainy day with no life insurance. Fool, you might die. The purpose of credit is to play the paper game, to leverage the credit, to start more businesses, to get more loans, to shoot a shot on their dime with no risk to you and your last name. That's what credit's for. Otherwise, you're wasting time, you're taking up space. So some of y'all, we trying to bridge the wealth gap over here. Some of y'all 15 million, we have to trade y'all to the other team because y'all holding us back. And why I'm so passionate about economic liberation and freedom is because I'm black whether I like it or not, and I like it. But that's my team. My team is Africans in America. And we've been in last place for every year on year, and I don't like last place. So the only thing we can do about it is actually have a plan, a comeback plan. So this is the barbecue. It's the family huddle up. Listen up, family. We down 450-0. I got us though. We can come back, but we need a blueprint. That blueprint starts with us understanding how money works, the opportunity cost of money, understanding how leverage and credit works, understanding the 5-part legacy wheel, understanding how that plays into our individual net worth, family net worth, community net worth at demise, and where that ties into the $153,000 wealth gap per family of median net worth that we have in real life. So I want you guys again to take a few notes, let that sink in. I hope it stings. Oh, somebody's mad at me right now because it stung, because it's tough love. Well, we gotta do different and do better if we want different and we want better. All right, so take your notes, guys, and we're gonna be having our concluding remarks about today's Trillionaire lecture. All right, family, you guys just got a salad, an appetizer, some meat and potatoes. Now I gotta give you the dessert, right? I can't leave us in our inaugural Trillionaire Academy series without giving us some game on real estate, right? I started my career as Mr. Real Estate. I retired my jersey, but I am one of the kings in the game, real estate pioneer. So as we're talking about building wealth, remember, the earth is just one big ball of real estate. There is nothing that we have or that we do that is not real estate. One of the most silliest questions I hear is, Jay, do you think I should get in real estate? I say, family, you're standing in it right now. Where you're watching this right now, I guarantee, is in or on some real estate. I don't care if you're in a hospital, the hotel, in a salon, in the church, no matter where you're at, your kid's school, it's all real estate. And matter of fact, every commodity we have is real estate. Your breakfast you ate this morning, where'd that food come from? The paper we wrote on, where'd that come from? A tree, where does a tree, where does it grow from? The gold you have on, where does that gold come from? Diamonds, where does it come from? Oil in your car, where does it come from? Whoever controls the most land wins. The earth ain't nothing but one big ball of land, and God ain't making no more land. So real estate is one of the oldest business models in the entire earth, and I want to give you a crash course on what I call the real estate hierarchy. In real estate, there's 3 sections. There's what we call brokership, right? Brokership in real estate are ways to do real estate that require little money out of your pocket. You basically make money by being a middleman or middlewoman, right? A broker in a relationship is someone that profits off the buy and sell of others. So you got realtors are brokers, right? Your loan officers are brokers, those who do your mortgages. Something called bird dogs, who are like referral real estate agents or real estate investors. And there's a big category called wholesalers in real estate. These are investors who make money by selling the contracts of real estate they find that makes sense for other investors. So they don't invest any of their own credit, any of their own capital, but they make money by being an in-between. And I got a student who's been with me, a protege for 7 years, who's done over $1.3 million, over 100 deals of wholesaling real estate. And now he's partnered with me on an academy to teach others around the country how to do this. And we even fund their deals, up to $3 million a day. We fund our students' deals. So I want to talk about wholesaling real estate at the end for you, but all this is brokership. It's not ownership. The ownership tier in real estate, many of you are familiar with. The ownership tier is being a homeowner, right? A house flipper, you see it on HGTV. A landlord, right? A multifamily investor. All these, a commercial real estate investor. All these are examples of being a owner. But remember, owner is not the highest tier when it comes to wealth or real estate. Ownership is simply a right or title. Someone has to give you that right or title. There's a little talked about part of the real estate industry, which I've been preaching and teaching recently, and I want to give it to New Birth. It's called controllership. It's controllership in real estate. A controller and control is power. Power is the ability to influence outcomes. Your controllers are private lenders, those who control the money. Your controllers are real estate note buyers, those who buy the debt from the banks. Controllers in real estate are your syndicators. Controllers are, I'll raise my hand, your fund managers. And the number one controller in all of real estate, is the bankers, the bank chairman. The highest tier in the hierarchy of real estate is controllership, and the highest tier of controllership is controlling the capital and the banks. This is a mission that we've been on and something I've been pursuing. And on this list, I've done every single one of these things except, so far at 40 years old, be the bank or the bank chairman, and I'm working my way. But I want to give you guys a snapshot of what the opportunities are in real estate. You got Airbnb and short-term rentals, tax lien investing, auction investing. All these are viable create cash and grow cash mechanisms that offer not only cash flow, real estate not only offers cash flow, but also offers cash flow, residual income, passive income, appreciation and equity, power and control, and tax advantages. This is why real estate is the number one business model in the world, in my opinion, and why we all need to be a part of it. So I'll step to the side. Please take notes on the hierarchy of real estate. And now I want to give you guys an opportunity for our mentorship or for me to be able to support you on your legacy journey. New Birth family and Trillionaire Academy family, I hope you enjoyed this inaugural lecture. I want to give you a gamut of what wealth building looks like from someone that's actually built wealth. Not only have I built wealth, I became a millionaire by 28 years old, but went bankrupt by 30. And built it all back up, leveraging the same strategies I taught you today, and learned more on top of that, and have been heaven bent on giving it back to our community. But I think we've defined quantifiably ways that we can increase our family net worth living or family net worth at demise, right? And quantifiably increase our family net worth by $153,000 and bridge our wealth gap, and it's done. So I want to give you guys the resources that I have, that I've built over the last 2 decades to assist you in building personal legacy and assisting Dr. Bryant and New Birth family on leading a charge of bridging the wealth gap. One, at joinjma.com, you'll see a few different options to work with me and my team. Anyone needs foundational information on real estate, business, or credit, you must get my RBCs, 72 courses, 30 minutes each of a deep dive of wealth building. I'll leave it at that. It is what you just saw today times 72. Creating cash for real estate beginners. My protege teaches this class. Again, he's done very well for himself. He's young and energetic. We'll teach you 5 nights a week how to create cash in real estate with no cash or credit. We'll even fund your deals. Also, for those who have a little bit of wealth and want to work with me personally, you guys can go to joinjma.com and get a one-on-one mastermind and personal family blueprint and game plan from me on Zoom or in person at the Black House. I'll see you there.
You've got to be mind blown after you've heard all of this rich resource of information. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it? I think one of the areas that the church has failed in is we keep asking people for offerings, but we are not asking people for investments. Will you invest in the body of Christ? Invest in a ministry that is ingrained in the community? Will you invest in something that you know is not about ourselves, but really co-opting the Negro spiritual if we can help somebody? You've got priceless information, and Jesus paid off our sins with the price of his life. I can't even tell you what would be the cost of the information you got today, but I want to perpetuate it so that more people will be able to glean. I want to ask you right now to invest in Trillionaire Thursdays. I want to ask every person to give a gift of $32, so that somebody else might be able to get this information after tonight, so that somebody else might be able to grow after tonight. Somebody else might be able to intake some of this information after tonight. Would you please make a seed of $32? It is below me right now on the screen. Next Thursday, you're not going to believe it, we had Jay Morrison tonight. Next Thursday, his wife is coming in. She's a mean sister. I'm telling you, she's got it all, and I'm excited about what she's going to offer and what she represents. Every person, ask that you will sow a seed of $32, not just for you, but do it for your legacy. Do it for your community. Hear this, and do it for unborn generations. God bless you, and I can't wait to see you next week for Trillionaire Thursdays.